The following video is meant to archive all of the various shenanigans carried out by the band and the network through the fall of 2020 leading up to their second full-length LP. This is both supposed to serve as a bit of a historical record to save everything that they did, as well as kind of explain the situation for anyone who is totally confused and still doesn't quite get it, because they were intentionally trying to be confusing and cryptic and weird, so a little bit of an explanation now that everything's done and we can step back and take a look at it as a whole might be helpful for somebody out there, so here this video is. For the purpose of clarity and everything like that, I won't be speaking through the language that the network uses with the story, the fiction, and all of that. I'll just be upfront. So for example of that, the network is Green Day. It's 6 members, Billy Joe, Mike Dirnt, and Trey Cool, as well as 3 members who are probably 3 members of Green Day's live act, including Jason White. It's hard to be sure who the other 2 are, partly because Green Day has so many live members that contribute to their sound in different ways and perform on different instruments. It's kind of hard to be sure who it is, especially if one of these musicians is someone who doesn't usually perform with them. But for the sake of simplicity, we can just call the network a Green Day side project. The network began in 2003, and they released a pretty short debut LP. Throughout the LP, it's pretty much a mostly comedic, lighthearted, and very weird for the sake of weird new wave album. It takes a narrative that the network are a band that have received a prophecy from the future and are speaking with a great amount of knowledge, but despite that, they're not necessarily entirely self-serious. There's a lot of humor, and this is all in service to their church, the Church of Scientology, which, as the album plays into, is definitely a church about vice and enjoyment and not self-seriousness. While there are a few more heavy and serious feeling songs, especially towards the end of the album with songs like Rochambeau, for the most part it plays into the comedy, humor, and comedically surreal elements of their sound. A few years after the release of their LP, they released a live album, a video album of one of their live shows, and throughout it's interspliced with a bunch of new footage, not necessarily from previous music videos, and it's definitely altogether trying to be its own thing and build on the message and narrative and theming of the network. And throughout it, they definitely build on to not only the surrealness, but also some of the seriousness and foreboding, prophetic, dark grandness. It commits a lot more to seriousness than the previous project. After the limited touring, the network disappeared, and nothing was heard from them again, except for a couple of interviews here and there with people close to Green Day, where the existence of a few other songs were mentioned, but nothing was ever confirmed for a long time, and the network just kind of disappeared. All of that leading to October 2020.
The network were formed in the year 2003, fulfilling an ancient prophecy predicting that we, its chosen members, would issue a stern warning to mankind in the form of music. Released as the album titled Money Money 2020, we shined the headlights upon the follies and vanity of mankind. Rapidly achieving fame and fortune, we had often been mistaken as the planet's greatest rock and roll band Green Day. This earthly comparison is almost as comical as the humans that inhabit this dying planet. A Time Machine and the Church of Scientology. After our mercurial rise in the foundation of the Church of Scientology, we have seen riches beyond imagination. Thus we abandoned the doldrums of stardom and focused our efforts on time travel and the salvation of things beyond the human grasp. Within our travels through both time and space, we have seen the futures foretold in the prophecy, and it is both disastrous and hilarious. Beyond these interstellar crossroads lie parallel dimensions where the oxymorons can create their own destiny. Choose wisely, for the devolution of man has always been a choice. The release of Money Money 2020 Part 2 will serve as the final lesson. Within the binary codes of this album exist the keys to our past, present, and future. The gods are laughing, and it's up to you to prove them wrong. You're welcome, the network. The Church of Scientology is in session, and it's time to drink up.
The insignificance of man cannot be overstated. And when the things he deems important vanish before his very eyes, and vanity comes face to face with mortality, those who do not evolve will find themselves disconnected from the network. So in the year of Money Money 2020, as Mach 2 approaches, remember one thing. We told you so. We're right. You're wrong. We're right. You're wrong. Yeah, we told you so. We're right. You're wrong. We're right. You're wrong. Yeah, we told you so. We're right. You're wrong. We're right. You're wrong. Yeah, we told you so. We're right. You're wrong. We're right. You're wrong.
Shortly after, a new YouTube account called The Network was found that matched with this new clip. This wasn't the first time in the year that The Network had apparently come back. Not long before this, just a couple months ago, there was a different account called The Church, which apparently was also The Network returning. On The Church was a single full song, a song that they called The Ultimate Test. It was later revealed / discovered that The Ultimate Test was actually a doctored version of a pre-existing song called Sound the Alarm by a band called Viva Death. A few other songs were also given this treatment and uploaded under the fake Church account, and eventually apparently the person who did this came forward with an excuse of a story which, in my opinion, isn't wholly convincing. Initially, a lot of people overlooked this leak, but as leaks started coming in hinting to them actually being back, and this clip was uploaded, that brought a lot of attention back around to the earlier fake leaks, until they were finally proven false when people figured out what the original songs were. Before the person who faked them came forward, there was also activity from Billie Joe Armstrong's Instagram account. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to archive it, but he used the story feature where it shows pictures that disappear after a limited time, and in that he had clips of the fake song complaining that it wasn't The Network and that it was fake. It was just a text on the screen and it wasn't very wordy, so unfortunately myself and some others interpreted that as him just winding up the Green Day isn't Network, Network isn't Green Day drama, and not fully taking it as actually saying this isn't The Network. Next, a lot of big stuff happened very quickly. That Network Instagram account uploaded a music video of an entire new song, Ivanka is a Nazi. In it, there was brand new footage of the performers, and you could see without a doubt that the performers were Billy, Mike, and Trey, confirming it as the real Network if the music sounding completely authentic and exactly like them wasn't enough. After Ivanka came a preview clip of another new song, which we now from the future know was Tarantula. After that, they released a short little video picking fun at some of the conspiracies and updates and stuff that Green Day fans on YouTube were making, trying to keep up with what was happening with the network.
Very short update video, the network has just dropped its second single.
You're wrong.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious.
You're wrong.
So we have We Are Right, and we have Did You Hear Them?
You're wrong.
So what I'm gonna guess is that it's gonna be not a record, but a mixtape.
You're wrong.
Freunde, Green Day sind zurück.
You're wrong.
Namens The Network.
You're wrong.
Ein bisschen nach Green Day klingt. Nein, Mike Dirnt hat auch 2013 bestellt.
You're wrong.
Network haben im Jahr 2003 das Album Money Money 2020 veröffentlicht.
You're wrong.
That was followed by an onslaught of new band bios explaining the members of the network and what had happened since the events of the first album. Then came another song clip from a song that we now know to be Threat Level Midnight, and then came another song clip from a song we now know to be Trans Am, and then came Trans Am EP. It was leaked a little bit beforehand, and not long after the leak, the entire EP came out. Trans Am EP consisted of Trans Am, along with Fentanyl, Flat Earth, and Ivanka is a Nazi.
Okay, unexpected late night update, but literally what's happening. I want to make sure I get this on video. Billie Joe Armstrong's Instagram has been taken over by Fink. There's a video clip with no audio, and there's a little, I guess, response to the bio of Fink. Oh wait, look, something else just happened. Billie posted one of these.
A rapid succession of dozens and dozens of posts were made the night of November 19th and the morning of November 20th, starting on the Billie Joe Armstrong Instagram account. There, he changed his name and profile picture to Mongo Fink, originally just Fink, and deleted all of his content. Years of pictures and content relating to Green Day just gone, wiped away. With the name changed to Fink, he then began to pretend that he was his character Fink from the network, and they made a story that his account had been hacked and that Fink had taken it over. Under the new moniker, persona of Fink, he started making a series of cryptic posts into that night. This led to Trey responding on his account, which led to the discovery of a new Instagram account called Snoo&9. From about this point forward, the really cryptic, weird stuff would only be posted on Billy's account or on the Snoo&9 account, both now run by the network in their story, and the actual main network Instagram account would become slightly more professional, or slightly a little less shitposty, since that's where they would now post updates for the official band stuff. If you want to see everything that was posted in that time frame in very deep detail, like step-by-step, a video that's called Green Day is Gone, the network's been busy, it goes into detail out of everything that happened with that, but I'm just going gonna focus on the big parts from that night, since just so much happened. The biggest thing is that Billy started Go Fink Yourself, which we'll cover a little later, and this video was posted on the shenanigans account.
When the fallen angels got thrown down from their higher dimension, they decided to merge with our brains because they were going to lose their powers and cease to exist. Before this happened, we were just like any other animal. We didn't know about our surroundings. And once they merged with our brains, we got our intelligence. And the fallen angels, in still doing so, lost their power. And they're locked away in our subconscious, deep within our subconscious. And at the same time when this happened, a third brain component formed. And that's our emotional side of our brain. And they want to suppress the side of the brain. They believe by raising our intellect that they can become gods once again, either through us or by breaking away from us and becoming gods. And you see this conspiracy, I call it the biggest conspiracy, where they want a society where there are no emotions, where we don't use that side of the brain. And they do this by giving us technology in other ways. It's done through by putting it in movies, and they show us the plan. When the fallen
After that, the rapid succession of quick posts started dying down, and a little after that, officially the Green Day Facebook and Green Day Instagram were quote-unquote taken over by the network. They changed the logo to the network and changed the Green Day branding and stuff and made posts to signify that the network had now taken over. They didn't really do much with the Green Day account. It was mostly to draw eyes from Green Day fans to the network. I assume that they had to leave a little bit of professionality with the Green Day stuff specifically, like how they dialed down a little bit of the crazy stuff on the network account. They just brought all of the really crazy stuff to the shenanigans account and to the Billy Joe Armstrong / Mongo Fink account. After some more trolly stuff on the Billy account and shenanigans account, they then posted a clip from the Flat Earth music video. They also did a really simple shitposty troll thing to The Weeknd, just because The Weeknd's costume with his suit and the face wrap or bandages he was wearing at the time happens to look a lot like Mongo. Throughout most of this, Mike pretty much ignored what was going on with all of this. He played dumb. Trey made an earlier mad post about the Flat Earth stuff, which is what brought attention to shenanigans account in the first place, and he fired back with more anti-Flat Earth, anti-fake stuff posts. The shenanigans account started posting photoshopped pictures of members of the network either observing or partaking in important events from 2020. And back on Armstrong's account, the Go Fink Yourself stuff was pretty much finishing up. It was a hashtag @ thing where he just said Go Fink Yourself, and the people who make their profile pictures into Fink can get a follow from me or likes from me for a limited time. And he followed like the first 25-50 accounts that did that, and he liked a bunch more of them, and eventually it dropped off. But he also shared some of these in those limited Instagram stories. So this is all of the compiled videos from his Instagram stories of the Go Fink Yourself stuff. Then the shenanigans account made an anti-5G meme video that's obviously very tongue-in-cheek, and that led up to a few more cryptic clips, which then led up to the unveiling of the fentanyl music video. Also in there, they used a clip from the Diseases Punishment live show from the first album to preview the fact that they were going to be doing merch for this one. Next, the network Instagram account debuted the first clip of 6 song previews, the first of 4 in a series. This one contained previews for 6 songs. Out of these songs, The Prophecy, Trans Am, Fentanyl, and Ivanka is a Nazi were already known, already released, and Theory of Reality and Asphyxia were brand new. And along with this was a reveal of the album cover, the album artwork. Around this time, it was also leaked or hinted to on the Green Day subreddit that this would be a double album, 4 sides instead of the typical 2, with about about twice as many songs, probably 24 or 25. The song titles they leaked there also all turned out to be right, just in the wrong order. And about a day later, the second song preview was uploaded to the Instagram. Out of these songs, Flat Earth was the only one that had been previewed before or released before, otherwise it was entirely new. Digital Black, Degenerate, Carolina's Ultimate Netflix Tweet, Respirator, and Squatter were songs that we had never seen anything of before, and since this was the B-side, if it was a normal album it would already be done, but there were songs that we knew to exist, like Threat Level Midnight, that weren't included, so this definitely confirmed that it would be a double album, and sure enough, along with this, Billy Joe posted on his Instagram a double album, therefore redundantly confirming that it was one. These are all new. They said a double album, 2 LPs. I thought that meant an A-side with a design and a B-side and a design. But the other 3 songs that we know exist aren't here. So either that means there's going to be another EP, or maybe when they said double album, they actually meant like a double album, 4 sides of music. If that's the case, this could be potentially 18 to 24 songs. Stay tuned, I guess. And now we're entering the home stretch of this whole thing. Around this time, they uploaded some of their last few memes, joking around with an office thing, and then playing into something with monoliths. A couple monoliths had been discovered, and then mysteriously disappeared. They were probably just to hype some book up, but it blew up online as a big mystery, and they got their little meme in there too. Meanwhile, they had an interview with Kerrang! Magazine, where they revealed a little more of their lore and went into a bit of their story with a lot more memeing, and the biggest takeaway from that interview was the confirmation of the track count straight from their mouths. A full audio reading of that interview is about 15 minutes long, so I'm not going to include it in this video. The biggest takeaway was the track count. If you want to listen to the whole thing, if you're a lore junkie, I've left up my audio reading of it, so if you want to listen to the whole interview, you can head over there. After that, they uploaded the final track previews, and not long after, the album released, I think first in Australia, maybe Japan, and the people there leaked it to the rest of the world, and soon enough, the album came out. After the release of the album, a couple more memes went around, but after that, Armstrong's account, or Fink's account, became deactivated. It disappeared from Instagram. It couldn't be seen anymore.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg.
This Instagram stayed down for pretty much a month, and then came back up for a few days in the middle end of January 2021, and then disappeared, became private or unlisted or whatever again. And that leads us to today. The Network's album is out, and it's been out for about a month. We haven't heard much from the Network or Green Day in terms of music or anything, and that's how it stands. I have no idea what the future may hold for the Network. Maybe they're gonna shelve it again and not touch it, and in a few weeks they'll revert Green Day's accounts and just become Green Day again and work towards the next album for that. Eventually they do have some hella mega tour shows that they have to reschedule and get around to, so maybe they'll just become Green Day again. Maybe they're planning something similar to the Disease's Punishment live show from the first album, and they'll leave the accounts up until they get to that, and then they'll hype that up. Maybe they're planning on releasing more EPs. Maybe they're planning on releasing an album. They said in the interview that the future is uncertain, and they'll see what happens. If I had to guess, I'm not entirely sure if the Network or Green Day know right now what exactly they're doing next. Maybe they have a grand plan in store, or maybe they're just laying back and seeing how this all goes. Maybe they have yet to decide if their next step should be Green Day or the Network. If I had to guess what happened to Armstrong's account, why it went private and then public for just a few days and then private again, I'd guess maybe pure speculation that he reported his account as stolen and it went private for the recovery process, but then once he got it back, they were like, hey, sorry dude, we got your account back, here's your password, it's now yours, but we haven't restored your information and your pictures and everything you had posted, or maybe at least just not yet. So maybe it's private again because that's another step that has to happen, or maybe it's private again because that isn't going to happen and Billy just wants to upload some stuff in private to get it back to being like his. There's no real way to know yet, we'll wait and see, but regardless of what happens, I feel like it's safe to say that this chapter, the fall-winter 2020 chapter of the Network, has come to a close. Money Money 2020 Part 2 has arrived and it has ended. Also, as this was all happening, I did procedurally make step-by-step videos trying trying to keep up to date with the developments as they happened. For whatever reason you want to watch the original videos as they were, get my raw, more emotional, frenzied in the moment reactions to the stuff as it's happening. If for whatever reason you want that, then that's all saved in a playlist that's accessible in the description and the top comment. Maybe this video seems a little pointless, but I feel a little bit of importance or at least value in making it. About 2 months ago, I never would have assumed that Billie Joe Armstrong's Instagram would be totally wiped and possibly forever. The project before all of this network stuff happened was a little video about all of the bands Billie Joe Armstrong had been in, and in that video I had used a clip from his Instagram to verify something I was saying. And if I had waited to take that screen grab even 1 week, I wouldn't have been able to make that video the way I did. I never expected that to vanish, but it did. So just in case, because we never know what will happen or what they'll do, I am happy to know that this is archived here and easily accessible on this channel. Maybe it won't disappear, maybe this new Anon account will be up forever, but in case it goes away or they delete a bunch of stuff or something, the memory is archived here. Even if it doesn't necessarily have any value to anyone watching in the future, it has a little bit of nostalgic value looking back and seeing what happened, if nothing else.
More that medieval look. More that network look. Stop it.
What?
People are gonna figure it out.